Hi there, this is Data, and welcome to the Body Slam TNA Impact Wrestling Review. I'm joined by Burt. Sorry about the delay, but let's kick things off. Burt, so at the end of tonight's episode, we had confirmation that Mustafa Ali is coming to TNA. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited about this. Like, Mustafa Ali and TNA, just think of some of the dream matches. Mustafa Ali versus Speedball Mike Bailey, Mustafa Ali versus Trey Miguel. Hell, give me Mustafa Ali versus Laredo Kid.
Yeah, I go from watching a 10 out of 10 episode of Impact on the Ty Dillinger scale, go from a Mustafa Ali announcement that I was like, what is this? What's happening? And then just like you said, I think the easiest way would be to book it Mustafa Ali versus anybody on the roster. I'd watch him versus anybody. I think he's capable of putting on a good match with anybody. So I can't wait.
Same, I cannot wait. Give me Mustafa Ali versus Josh Alexander. Holy smokes. Oh my god. That's gonna be a fantastic match. I cannot wait for that. Mustafa Ali coming to TNA would definitely be a great addition to the roster, if you ask me.
Definitely.
All right, let's get things off talking about the six-man tag match. It's the System versus Motor City Machine Guns and Kazuchika Okada. Now, this was Okada's first match in TNA in over, 11 years, I think they said?
I think it was 13, I believe.
13 years. Now, I was a little disappointed that we didn't get the full entrance, with the money coming down and everything. So I was a little disappointed by that. And, you and I were there live for this. And so just to see him up close, I was so in awe,
Yeah, the aura of Okada, just when you see it live, it's just totally different. Yeah, he just oozes charisma, and what a great main event.
Definitely. Now I have to say, I really enjoyed that moment that Okada had with Moose, after they were chanting for Okada, and and Saban tagged him in, and that moment where Okada and Moose just had a stare down. I was like, oh my fucking god, this is epic.
Yeah, give me Moose versus Okada for the TNA World Title. I have no problem with that.
Same. I wouldn't have a problem with it either. Now I did notice Okada got cheap shotted by all three members of the System: Edwards, Moose, and Myers. What was up with that?
I just think that's the System, in my opinion. Which when you're a heel faction, you got to work smarter, not harder. And I just think I did like that, and I like them establishing themselves. Like I said last week, they are the top faction and the top heels in the company. So
they definitely are. It seems like green is their color because they were all wearing green out there.
Well, it makes sense because they are money.
Yeah, they're definitely money. Now, Alex Shelley gets the victory here after he hits the shell shock to Brian Myers. So the Motor City Machine Guns and Kazuchika Okada were victorious here. I have a feeling things between the Motor City Machine Guns and the System are not over. I think they're just starting.
Yeah, and I do think it was the right finish, just because we would assume that Alex Shelley is going to get a rematch, and you don't want to necessarily have him pin Moose. You don't have to go in that direction. So I'm glad he pinned a member of the System, and yeah, I would assume that that he would have a automatic rematch coming up, and yeah, it was a good win for the team. I like to call the Motor City Rainmakers.
That's an awesome name. Motor City Rainmakers. I could dig that.
Someone needs to be printing that shirt as we speak.
That sure would be money. All right. So tonight's Impact kicked off with Chris Bay versus Kevin Knight. Now, this was a great match. Kevin Knight is a star on the rise. I cannot wait. We need to see more of him in Impact. We've seen a little bit of him, but we need to see more.
Yeah, I think the last time I saw him was when he had that showcase / breakout match with Moose, where it looked like he could have pinned Moose at any time. Yeah, I really hope TNA can sign Kevin Knight to some sort of long-term deal, just because I think that he has star written all over him.
Definitely, especially because he's a tag team partner of Kushida, and Kushida's already signed to TNA Impact. So maybe we might see Kevin Knight.
I would hope so.
So, Chris Bay wins this, which was the right choice because they are the tag team champions. They shouldn't be losing in singles competition. And now they're attacked by the grizzled young vets after the match. They double team Ace Austin, and they hit the grit your teeth to Chris Bay, and they grab and hold up the tag titles. Obviously, we find out later in the night while they're cutting a promo that Santino Morella is making a best 2 out of 3 series between them, and the winner becomes tag team champions. I am excited about this. I cannot wait. Those are going to be a good series of matches.
Yeah, unless I missed it, I really, really hope once again TNA signs the Grizzled Young Veterans, just because I think that they bring an element to the tag team division that hasn't been there in a while, and I think it's much needed. I think that they're totally different from any of the other teams, so I really hope TNA can lock them down.
Yeah, I think they would make a great addition to the TNA roster. So I'm definitely looking forward to these matches. Like, I like ABC, but I have a feeling that they would lose the tag titles to the grizzled young vets here.
Which I'm with you. I'm a huge ABC fan, but at the same time, I'm also a Grizzled Young Veterans fan, and I do think that I think that they deserve better than where they worked before. So if they become TNA champions, I think it's well deserved.
I think so too. All right, we get a Ash by Elegance via net. Now I know there are some people that feel a certain type of way because she's coming to TNA Impact, but honestly, I can't wait. It's going to be interesting to see what she can do outside of the WWE. I'm not the biggest fan of Ash by Elegance, but it wasn't her fault. Her booking didn't do her any favors. So I'm very curious to see what they do with Ash by Elegance and TNA Impact. TNA has a habit of turning people that were maybe jobbers into stars. Look what they did for Deonna Purrazzo. Look what they did for W. Morrissey, who now goes by Big Bill. So I'm very excited to see what Ash by Elegance does and contributes to the Knockouts division.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I was going to say the same thing. TNA has a track record like rebuilding wrestlers, and it all goes back to me with, I always say TNA was the one that turned Drew Galloway into a star. I always call him Drew Galloway in my head just because that's where I first saw his full potential was in TNA. And I think just once again, TNA is great at getting the most out of people, and I think we're going to see a lot of good stuff from Ash by Elegance.
Another example would be Steve Maclin.
Yeah, the lists are the list is endless.
Exactly. So we get a Frankie Kazarian segment, and he's basically saying that he's not going to tell us why today he attacked Eric Young. We have to wait till next week to figure out why he attacked Eric Young. Now, during this, he's approached by Rich Swann, and 2 interesting things happen here. He tells Rich Swann that maybe it's time that he takes control of his career, kind of just like he did. And then Rich Swann is approached by AJ Francis, who tells him when they met on a plane, and AJ Francis wants to be in his corner for his match with Joe Henry. And Rich Swann declines this. It kind of seems like they're maybe planting the seeds for a Rich Swann heel turn. Now, obviously, the AJ Francis being in his corner is probably because, again, like we talked about last week, they're probably going to set up a match with AJ Francis and Joe Henry.
Yeah, I think there was just so much to pay attention to in that segment. Like, first, I do like Kazarian, basically giving us what we call in the business a tease. He's not going to tell us now. He's going to tell us next week. He's going to make us wait, and he should. He's a star. And then as far as Rich Swann and AJ Francis, I don't know necessarily if I see Rich Swann as a heel, but I think Rich Swann's fully capable of being a heel. He's super talented, so we'll have to wait and see. But it definitely was very interesting.
It was. It caught my attention. Definitely piqued my interest, and I cannot wait to see what they do with that. So we get Dirty Dango and Oleg Prudius versus Dante King and Damien Drake. Now, I'm not too familiar with Dante King and Damien Drake. I think they said they were from FSW, from that promotion. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not too familiar with them. But I kind of wasn't a huge fan of this. I wasn't a huge fan of this match. I don't know how you feel, but, I get it. Dirty Dangle's a heel. He pretty much let Oleg Prudius do all the work. So it's kind of like an enhancement match for Oleg and a dirty heel tactic for Dirty Dango. What were your thoughts on this?
First, I did like Dirty Dango's tribute to Booker T when he was basically, I forget who he was beating up, but he was basically beating up a group while wearing a house mic and cutting a promo. And so I do like Dango basically on the phone doing them, because again, I don't think that he could. I didn't think there was any reason for him to get off the phone. You know what I mean? It was obviously an important call, and it didn't seem to deter him from getting the win. You know what I mean? So, the match wasn't really anything to like pay attention to in terms of like it wasn't important, but it was fun.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of the match itself, but I did appreciate Dirty Dangle's heel tactics.
Yeah.
We get a quick interview with the Motor City Machine Guns and Okada. This is before their match, and Saban kind of says that people are gonna know why TNA is total nonstop action. Okada says that tonight TNA feels a rainmaker, and Alex Shelley basically says that for a decade plus, Motor City Machine Guns have been a backbone for TNA. So kind of just your standard interview here.
Yeah, I really like that. The Machine Guns, I think, have really, their interviews the last couple of years have been great. And again, I just think that I like it. I like, just to go back to the match, I really like Tom Hannafin kind of explaining Okada's brief history, saying that his first run in TNA didn't go well, but simultaneously why he's saying that, you can just hear the crowd cheering for him, and the pop that he got when he came out was incredible. So the complete 180 from where we were 13 years ago till now is really awesome.
Yeah, like he had that Green Hornet gimmick, didn't he?
I believe so, yes.
I wasn't watching TNA at that time, but I've heard. So we get the Knockouts title rematch. It's Jordynne Grace versus Trinity. Trinity's gets a rematch here. This was a great match. Freaking fantastic match. Like, I would not have mind if this main evented, honestly.
No.
Because it was fantastic. Like, Trinity and Jordynne Grace went out there and they freaking delivered. And this is why TNA Impact has the best women's division in America.
Yeah. The only thing that was upsetting to me is because as I was watching the match, I'm just thinking to myself, I really hope Trinity's not leaving. Just because I think that she has brought such energy to the division, and I think that she was, right when she got there, she fit in just because the way that TNA books the knockout division, there's such a focal point in the company. And yeah, I really hope she was staying. Again, I don't know if she is or not, but it just sucks if she leaves.
So a couple of things I like about this was the back and forth pins, like when they were going back and forth pinning each other, and that Starstruck reversal, like Jordynne Grace turned that Starstruck into a pin. I really like that. Now at the end of the match, both women shake hands, as a sign of respect, but the Shaw Taraj attacks. Savannah Evans and Jay Vidal attack them, and Giselle Shaw delivers the denouement to Trinity, and she holds up the Ultimate X, clearly sending a message here.
Yes. I know Giselle is getting her opportunity. I don't know. I would have held off on a little bit just because I do think Giselle Shaw will eventually win. But them doing it this soon makes me think that, well, maybe she won't win. Because I just don't expect Jordynne to have a short reign, just because I think her last reign, wasn't what she hoped. And like I said, I think Giselle Shaw is a future champion. I think by the end of 2024, she will be the Knockouts champion. But it's just a matter of if and when they decide to do it. Because, again, number one contender.
I think that based on what happened here, if Trinity is leaving, they'll probably set up a match between Giselle Shaw and Trinity, and they'll probably use that to kind of ride her off, off the show. We won't know until we get to the Florida tapings next week. But I do think that they're going to go that route, especially based on this angle. I don't think Trinity is going to let that slide.
When you have to keep Giselle strong going into the match because she has to be a strong contender whenever they decide to do the match.
They definitely, and I do agree. 2024 is going to be quintessential. Giselle Shaw will be knockout champion this year. We get a quick promo by the system, and Eddie Edwards says there's a reason why Moose is TNA World Champion. Brian Myers says the system will go worldwide because they're gonna, they're facing Okada, and Moose says all you have to do is trust the system. Now, Brent, I'm going to ask you, do you trust the system?
Of course I do.
I trust the system as well. But this was a great promo by them.
Yeah, and let me just say that even though I do, just by her facial expressions and mannerisms, I think Alicia completely belongs in this action. I think she makes it. She made that promo for me this week.
Well, I mean, she's gonna. I think that by default she would be in the faction because her husband's in the faction. So,
yeah. but that's one thing. But she's up because it's not like she's a part of it by default.
Oh, that's true.
You know what I mean? She's making it feel like she's just as important as every other of the members, and to me, she is.
She is. She's extremely important. I mean, Alicia Edwards is playing her role perfectly here. Yeah. She is. And she was in their corner during the main event, and she just plays her role really good. It wouldn't surprise me, honestly, if she does get another opportunity at the Knockouts title.
Yeah, because I wouldn't mind seeing Eddie and Myers as tag champions. I like when a faction has a hold.
Yeah, same here. And then you just kind of add an X Division guy, and they will all hold all the gold, Yeah. Maybe Leo Rush. I know Brian Myers and Moose tried to recruit Leo Rush when they were with Bully Ray. That didn't go as well, but maybe this time around it would go a little bit better, don't you think?
Yeah. I think this group fits a lot better with each other. Once you got rid of I don't think Bully Ray really fit, but I think this group goes together a lot more.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. They go a lot better. All right, we got the in-ring debut of Nick Nemeth versus Zachary Wentz. So as we all know, Nick Nemeth made his debut at Hard to Kill. And last week he cut a promo saying he wanted to work his way to the top. And this week we got his in-ring debut against Zachary Wentz. So this was a really great match, actually, if you ask me. I liked it. We got the name of his finisher, the Danger Zone. What did you think of this match and of the finisher, the Danger Zone?
It's the same finisher he's always used, just a different name.
Yeah.
Name will grow on me. But Nick has always been, to me, one of those guys where I've always been a huge fan, and there was a point where I thought that they should have done more with him in WWE. But he always felt like a guy that they were never gonna see him as the way that other people saw him. After a while, when they don't do anything, and they don't really have any plans, the fans kind of lose interest. But I think that in TNA, he is going to reach the potential that a lot of people think he should, just because not only did he fit there, but he doesn't get lost in the shuffle there. He's a star. And I could see at some point, depending on how long he'll be there, but I having a short run and him being the one to beat.
I definitely do think he's going to be the one to take the title off of Moose. Like I said, they could build on it, especially if he's going to work his way to the top. I could see that match happening at Rebellion.
And it would also just be a way that they don't, because I definitely see Josh being champ again, and it would just definitely be a way so they don't have to do Josh that soon again.
Yeah, I agree. Now, at the end of the match, Trey Miguel attempted to attack Nick Nemeth, but he got hit with the Danger Zone. And then Steve Macklin attacked, and Steve Macklin got hit with the Danger Zone. Like we said last week, they're definitely setting up a match between Steve Macklin and Nick Nemeth. So it's definitely a good first feud for him, I think.
Yeah, I like it because if you remember the promo last week, Nick Nemeth said that he want to go to the front line, and I'm glad Steve Macklin was the one that came out first, because if Nick Nemeth for some reason did go to the front line, I don't think that would sit well with Steve Macklin, because he had to fight for everything he had when he got there, and then to get his title shot, you know what I mean? So this feud just makes so much sense.
Yeah, it definitely does. Like you said, like Steve Macklin did stop. He had to stop at the bottom. He had an undefeated streak, everything. So I'm really looking forward to their match. It's going to be a really great match. I cannot wait. All right, we get a Crazy Steve segment, and in this segment, he's basically talking about Tommy Dreamer, how Tommy Dreamer was holding him back. He's interrupted by Rhino, who basically told him he wants to teach Crazy Steve a lesson, whether he likes it or not. And then he shoves Crazy Steve into the equipment case. I really do think that Crazy Steve and Rhino are gonna have a match. I don't know if it was announced next week or something, but I think Crazy Steve would defeat Rhino.
I didn't hate this promo because I like both people, but I feel like Rhino was the most predictable first opponent for him, just given his friendship with Tommy Dreamer, his history with Tommy Dreamer. It just makes so much sense, and I do think Crazy Steve will win. I agree with you.
Yeah, I do agree. It was a little predictable right there because Rhino and Tommy Dreamer have history, but Crazy Steve needs to kind of defeat Rhino here, and then I would be curious to see who comes after Rhino.
Yeah.
All right, so DK is officially back, like Havoc and Rosemary said. They said that Courtney Rose and Jessica with the K, because she's sick, served their purpose. And I am really digging this. DK is back. Don't get me wrong, I liked Jessica with the K because she's sick, and Courtney Rush. They reminded me of a female Bill and Ted. But it's nice to have DK back.
Yeah, I do. I agree with you. DK are a lot better. I think fit them more. And yeah, I'm sad that MK Ultra are not champions anymore. But I'm interested to see where they go from here. Hopefully, we see some uh some more tag teams. I think we not to spoil the next thing, but I think we might see a potential one with the team we saw later in the night. But yeah, no, I'm very interested to see where DK goes from here, because they are one of the more over acts in the company, and they're very popular.
Well, I don't think their rivalry with MK Ultra is quite over. They are older rematch, so we gotta wait and see what happens there.
Yes.
All right, next we get Danny Luna and Jody Threat versus MK Ultra here. So, like you alluded to, I could see Danny Luna and Jody Threat teaming up and becoming a tag team. They need to team a little bit more, before I could say that they're a great tag team, because we saw a little bit here, but they still need a little bit more tag teaming together before I could say, oh yeah, they're a fantastic tag team. It's interesting that they got Danny Luna away from Subculture. On commentary, they confirmed that Danny Luna is signed to the Knockouts division, so she got away from Mark Andrews and Webster, which is
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Well, on one hand, it's a great addition, just because they do need knockouts tag teams. I hope that doesn't mean that we don't see Morgan and Webster anymore. I hope we do. But yeah, and I going forward, I would just keep booking Threat and Luna as a team, just because I don't want a situation where Decay has no one to team with, or just the belts are going back and forth between them and MK Ultra, because you need more than two teams to have a division.
Yeah, you do. I do agree with you. Now, the Knockouts tag team division has taken quite a hit over the last couple of years. They lost a lot of tag teams from the Influence, the Inspiration, Vex, my favorite tag team, alongside the Inspiration. So this year I would like for them to kind of this year I would like for them to start to rebuild the Knockouts tag team division. They have two teams. It seems like they're gonna get three with Danny Luna and Jody Threat. We still need a few more here.
Yeah. Also, too, you could whoever is like I wouldn't have a problem with while Giselle Shaw is trying to win the Knockouts Championship if her and Savannah Evans' team once in a while as well.
Yeah, they could reform. And then at the end of the match, MK Ultra attacked Danny Luna, obviously sending a message to DK. They're coming. They're gonna come for those Knockouts tag titles, for sure. But let me see. I was just brilliant. I didn't even see these comments. Okay, let's see here. Io, what's up? What a show. Definitely agree. You agree, Jay Grizzled Young Vets is a perfect fit. TNA Snake Eyes was fire. Yes, it was. Jordynne is Trinity is greatest opponent. Yet she is. Well, some systems are messed up. That's true. You would add Leo? Yeah, a lot of people say that. Adding Leo to the system so they could get the X Division title. MK more dangerous without the butts. Yes, they are because they want those belts back. And I think that, who knows? I don't think that rivalry's over yet.
To Io's point, I wouldn't even mind the system adding another knockout, so Alicia could be Knockouts champion. Because I would have no problem with that, just because I wouldn't mind seeing Alicia as champion, and that would be a way to, so not necessarily give her the world title, but if they added another knockout, I wouldn't have no problem with that.
But who would you pair up with Alicia? That's the question. Who would you pair up with Alicia? Joseph Gonzalez says, "Screw the system." Were you the one chanting "F the system"? Because they get the F the system.
Walker told me that I don't know if she would fit, but maybe throw Ash by Elegance in there.
Oh, okay. I could. It depends on what kind of character she's portraying. If she's a heel, I think she would fit right in. But if she's not a heel and she's a face, maybe. We have to wait and see what the type of character she's going to bring to TNA Impact. Yamo, no. I love that to be a thing. F the system chant. Oh, well, we got it. Hopefully Florida made it a thing. We'll see. You have to wait and see. All right, Bert. So, you got any last comments before we wrap up the show? Because after that was the main event, which we already talked about. So,
I don't know if we covered it. We're getting a new talk show next week, the Sound Check with Alan. He's gonna have Josh Alexander as his first guest. I don't know a better way to start to premiere a show. What better guest? You know what I mean? That's a star. So, and I'm always a fan of. I can't remember the last time anyone had a talk show type segment on TNA. I'm trying to think. Maybe the last one did the Influence have one?
They had, well, yeah. Tennille Dashwood had All About Me, where people got to ask her questions, and then Madison Rain had Locker Room Talk.
Okay, so yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I think that any way to get Alan Angels more TV time, I'm fine with it. There's another rebuild project. Alan Angels has been awesome since he's been in TNA. So, to get him on TV more, I'm happy with it.
Alan Angels is amazing. They've done a really good job with Alan Angels. I didn't like it when he joined the design kind of. So I'm happy that he's away from that. But yeah, I think Alan Angels will definitely benefit from more TV time. And anybody who faces him, I hope they wear a cup if he's still doing that.
Good point. But yeah.
Io says TNA is just getting started. Buckle up, everybody. Yep, buckle up because you're in for a ride. And ABC versus GYV next week, match one. I cannot wait for that. It's definitely going to be match of the night.
I really hope that they do some sort of where each match is a different stipulation. And if it now ends in either a ladder match or a cage match, two of my favorites, I would have no problem with that.
That would be epic. All right, Bert, where can people find you?
Just on Twitter at BertMacklin11. On X.
X, Twitter, it's all the same thing. All right. As for myself, you can follow me on X at Datila_. I talk about all the shows. You could check out my YouTube channel where I review Raw, SmackDown, AEW Dynamite. I don't do Rampage anymore, so unfortunately. But with that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching. It means the world that you guys tuned in to watch our show. We love talking about TNA Impact, and we can't wait to do it again next week. Hope everybody has a great night, and we'll see you next week. Bye.